never cross a bitch with a bob.
Abolition first, but Eric Adams behind bars second.
I love a stripper name as like a government name.
He's truly one of a kind, and I can't believe he exists.
Oh, you're gonna get married, and then you're gonna go to jail.
Bald-headed, earring-wearing brother that did his thing.
Oh, I had a laugh. Child, I had a laugh.
Eric Adams was like the second main character in this story.
This is like Charlie XCX prices.
Istanbul first stop. Hunter, I'm kind of coming for your gig.
What gig are you coming for? Miss Harris Waltz?
Oh.
Pete's
What?
wearing a camo shirt.
God forbid a woman be lesbian. I have found myself last week at a bachelorette, and this week, at a wedding.
Wow.
Watch your back.
same like relationship or different? Okay, I was gonna say
different
that's gonna get kind of close.
Yeah, imagine they're like, actually, let's do this thing. Like, yeah. No, I went to, and I'm actually glad I did though, because the bachelorette was for a wedding that I'm gonna be in, and so it was my first bachelorette, and then this wedding was my first real TM wedding, like grown folks wedding.
How did it go for you?
I had a time.
I've been putting in work. I know what it's like to be at a wedding.
Hunter's like, "Ooh, she gonna spend it all in one place. You don't know she needs to really. I need to move slow."
I already know you did because you texted me at like 2 a.m. I love weddings. Oof, and I said, "Oof, this is about to get a hangover in process."
When I tell you, I'm still in pain. Yeah, oof. Physically, emotionally. But I will say, I learned something really radical, which is love is real. And heterosexuals know how to have fun. I thought it was just the gays, but y'all can kind of turn up a bit. I said, oh, let's ride.
Okay, what did you wear? What was the venue like? How was the food? What was the first song?
Oh,
you didn't give me the real details.
Okay,
like,
first song, you know I was wasted by the time
what was the custom
happened.
cocktail called?
Let's start there. The custom cocktail. No, let's not start there because you need the context. AK, you need the race of the two people getting married.
Okay.
I also finessed my way into this wedding. That sounds like I'm their third. But I went to my good friend's older sister's wedding. It was maybe 180 people max.
Okay.
So like intimate enough.
Yeah,
that sounds smallish to me. Yeah,
size.
It felt like a good size. But there was definitely like a capacity until I said, "It's me, hey."
Don't knock on the microphone. You are raggedy as hell.
I like a little ASMR.
Girl.
I'm trying to appeal to a younger demographic. We're trying to get Gen Z audience in here. But I said, drunk at my friend's birthday to her sister, "I'm coming to your wedding." I cornered her and I said, "You better slip me that invite." And she, with her hands up, was kind of like, "Fine, bitch."
Wow.
Yeah, so that's the power of Pine Sol. So I came, and when I wore, I don't even remember who the dress was by, but it was just like, at this point, I just did an Essence haul.
Mm-hmm.
God bless my credit card. Chase, I'll call you back. Give me a minute. And it was like it was actually for me pretty conservative. I did get the slit a little higher, raised to like mid-thigh versus like right above the knee, because I do have to send a message, a slut me out message, kind of call to action.
Okay.
But it was like mostly covered up. It was like a nice like gray purpley, silk dress.
Okay.
Long sleeve too.
Okay. Was the wedding inside or outside? And where
Mostly
was it? What
outside.
city?
It was in San Francisco, which was nice. I got to see my mom. But it was at a sculpture farm that was not a venue, but owned by her friend. And I said, I need more rich white friends. Plenty of them too.
Wow. Okay.
Desperate need.
Okay.
Because I want my wedding venue comped. I'm realizing the stats, the numbers. The math is mathing, and it's not on my side.
It adds up.
I can't imagine even having a wedding.
What table were you sitting at? Who was at your table?
It was like 3 long tables. So
that's beautiful.
I like that too.
Wow, yeah.
I think the weird small circle table, like trying to have to get to know everyone no. Let's like make it a little equal opportunity, and then just like forward the family to the front.
How are the speeches? And how many speeches?
Beautifully brief.
Okay.
Maybe 4, 5 at most.
Okay.
The wedding itself was also so short. It was like the ceremony, I guess, is that what you call the very first part of it? Like the actual vows and
stuff? Is that what you call the ceremony?
I'm new to this. Not true to this.
Oh Lord.
Hunter's
Okay.
like pulls out a cigarette. She's like, yeah, go ahead, girl.
I feel like Jimmy
Do your
Butler
best.
hanging off the side of the thing. No, my
But
goodness.
it was really brief, which I was nervous. Like normally that seems like it takes a really long time, but I will say something very California about the wedding is there was like a sound bath to help us like get into our bodies and like bless the rings with our energy before we like started the wedding.
Okay.
Loved it.
Okay.
Seems like something you would hate.
Now
so.
the custom cocktail. What was that?
So the custom cocktail was called Swirl Life. It was actually good as fuck, but it was a representation of their interracial marriage.
Oh, wow. I'm
What's
surprised.
it? Loving versus whoever? I don't know.
Virginia.
Oh.
I'm surprised it wasn't called Swirl Talk. like,
yeah. It was a choice of words. I told my dear friend getting married to Lexi, I said, oh, you're going to get married and then you're going to go to jail. Like, this is really diabolical of you. But the drink did hit. It was
how
good
many
as hell.
dress changes were there?
I think 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was honestly, it was beautiful. It was subtle. It was like, it was sexy. It was sweet and it was fun.
DJ or live band?
Live band, then DJ.
Lovely. Was there an
Yeah.
after party?
Yeah,
After
but it was
the
at the same
reception?
kind of venue. It was originally going to be at a different venue, but it was just too much walking and heels and dirt. It's a farm, sculpture farm. You
I
know?
like that. I like
Yeah.
when like the after party feels like it's in a separate space, but like in the same kind
Yeah.
of area.
Yeah.
That feels like a nice touch.
Yeah.
I'm
I
like
had
really
my first
grilling you.
wedding.
I'm trying to like, were you even
I know.
at
I
this
feel like I'm
wedding?
taking the
Like-
Vanity Fair like lie detector test right now. Like my heart is racing. Like I'm hoping I did this right. Like Hunter does not believe in me to have survived a wedding gracefully.
I really don't, because I go to so many weddings and like I never want to have a wedding, but if I did, there would be things that like I would know. Like I can't have a wedding because I'd be too much of a bridezilla. Like
then you should plan my wedding. I would trust you to like get me going.
I
Get me
know I
right.
would do, because see, if I were planning a wedding planner, first of all, hates to see me coming because I would be like, we need to have all speeches submitted to me like a month in advance. So both I know what you're going to say and I can also like figure out, like, we don't need to repeat the same anecdotes. It's like you want everything to be like matched. And what I
Yeah.
also, something else that I feel is that like, I don't like when vows are mismatched. Like when like vows are either like one person's are super short and the others are like super long.
Yeah.
Or like a mismatch in quality. And you
Yeah.
just think, oh, it would be nice if you could, if like someone had read over these before and could just like make them feel more like
Yes.
equally yoked
Yeah.
to
I
take
would
it back
want
to
to
the
do
Bible.
that. I would want to be surprised. Oh, that reference went over my head.
I know it
obviously.
did.
I would want to be surprised, but I would have like you or our friend Evan Nicole Brown like edit whoever my marriage partner would be, because I would need some pushback, some feedback, but I still want to be surprised by all the messages.
That's what I mean. Totally. I think that like
Oh, I thought you meant for your own. You
well,
would edit.
No, I would do that if I got married, of
Oh my
course,
God.
without a doubt. I'd be writing it. I'd be ghostwriting everything.
And you're shedding a single tear, being like, oh, no, you didn't. Even though you're like, delivery of that line and pause, execute. There we go. Thank you.
I know.
Oh.
I really would be like, control room,
Yeah.
like, and that mic needs to be off and this mic needs to be on. Yeah, that would totally be me. The other thing I think too is that, like, what was the dress code of this wedding?
Black tie.
Okay,
But
black
I
tie
don't
optional or black tie?
Okay, see, this is the thing that you were trying to explain to me, and I had an aneurysm, which is like, okay, black tie versus cocktail. I thought that's where the debate ended.
Mm-mm.
There's more genders to explore here.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I've done coastal cocktail. I've done festive formal.
What
I've
does
done.
that mean? That's
I've
made
done.
up.
I've done everyone wearing black. I've done it all, honey.
Everyone wearing black. I'm actually kind of. That sounds chic.
No, it's
actually.
cunted.
And like easy. See, the bridesmaid dress I have to wear. It was the only assignment was black and ankle length. But I got that high slit up in that dress.
Ugh.
No matter what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna show
Oh
some
my
leg.
God. I actually had a nightmare that it was like I had developed a reputation for like outdressing, like being the best dressed at every wedding. And it's like then in this nightmare, it was that I got married and every woman came to my wedding in a dress that I had worn to their wedding. And they were like, how does it look? How do you feel? And I was like, oof.
This actually sounds like a dream to you, not a nightmare. You're like, I was serving so much cunt, it was scary. Oh gosh. Yeah.
No, but I was like, no, the wedding dress thing, it's like the say yes to the dress thing like doesn't bother me at all. But I do have like an actual nightmare before every wedding I've ever gone to that I'm wearing the exact same color as the bridesmaids. I think that we should normalize should normalize like having on the invitation like a color scheme or like some kind of recommendation, just because I'm afraid that like I'll show up in a pink dress and like, oh my gosh, everyone in the wedding is wearing a pink dress. And then I'm like, awkwardly the rest of the night being like, oh, I'm not a bridesmaid. You know, like that just is like, my anxiety like kicks into overdrive.
Even though I really don't believe in having bridesmaids. I'm like, why would you literally want attention on anybody else but go off? But I do think that was really good feedback you gave to me when I was looking for dresses. When you were like, careful with this blush pink, baby. Careful with that little like or sunsetty orange, like careful.
Yeah. I do think that fundamentally a lot of the weddings I've been to, the dress code is a lot looser than it just being like, do you want short dresses or long dresses? That's like the different, like the real different, like essential question.
Short dresses at any wedding though? That sounds like gross.
No.
It sounds casual to me.
No, it doesn't sound casual. Oh. But some people, okay, I've been to weddings where like older women are like wearing white and acting like it's like totally fine. Where I'm like, tap, I'm gonna tap you on the shoulder. Excuse me, go home and change.
Yeah. Well, I was veering a little too close to. I feel like you and Meg were saying this. I was veering too close to champagne. Like I was doing a little thing where I was like, oh, this is a really pretty off-white. And I was like, let me just go brown.
This reminds me of when one of our friends was about to wear a white dress, like not even like a cream or a champagne, just a white dress to her brother's wedding, and then called me 2 weeks before and was like, I need to borrow a dress.
You know what it actually reminds me of? When a Taurus is having a birthday party and a Leo comes in a Leo t-shirt to the Taurus's birthday.
That's actually totally different.
Sounds similar to me.
No.
Elicits the same response, which is anger.
No.
Couldn't be anyone in this room.
I did it and I'm standing on it. And I did it and I won't take it back.
I think what it comes all down to me with wedding dresses, ensembles, whatever, is like, I just want the photos to be clean. So I feel like a nice, gentle dress code to a certain, or not just dress code, but color scheme. It's like, I want the photos to all hit. I want everyone to look like, maybe not monochromatic, but I want it to all blend nicely.
You want to tell a color story.
Yeah. God forbid.
No, I like that. And I also feel like, did your wedding have a website?
Yeah.
I love a good wedding website.
Love a website.
I have been to weddings where the wedding website is like, it's like beautifully written copy. Like they're telling a narrative of like their romance. They're giving like very specific recommendations for like things that they want you to do and like how they I love when it's kind of like a destination wedding or it's like somewhere kind of off the beaten path and they're like, this place is special to us and this is like how we want you to experience it. Like that stuff is so. Classy. I went to a wedding in Hawaii with my friend who is like born and raised in Hawaii, and they like made a whole itinerary of like optional things for you to do to be like, we are sharing this place with you and like want you to feel how important like this has been to our story. And it's like that, classy. I love it. Like that stuff really like makes a wedding for me.
That's cute. That's nice. I was just like,
I'm a lover girl at heart. What can I say?
Well, that's a lie. So, but that was cool of you to try. Let's do it again next week and see if it lands.
Okay, well, today we're talking about scams, starting with the Industry Season 3 finale. And also Detroit's Bridgerton-themed gala that never was. And then we'll be joined by Sarah Hagi to talk about the scammer-in-chief mayor of New York City, Eric Adams. And do not forget that we have a bonus segment that drops every Thursday only on Wondery Plus.
And we'll be talking about some new celebrity breakups that rocked us to our core this week, including Cardi and Offset, of course, Jenna Dewan and Channing Tatum, and sort of Rosalia and Jeremy Allen White. Rosalia. Ooh, again, that was really good. Don't miss it, and make sure to subscribe to Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts if you love adrenaline, mess, money, my lookalike, and murder.
And we're joined by Sarah Hagi to talk about the scammer-in-chief mayor of New York City, Eric Adams. So please do not forget that we have a bonus segment that drops every Thursday only on Wondery Plus. So hold on, let me say this.
Wait, give me a minute. Can you let me say this?
Are you looking for a home for your worst opinions?
Are you a hater first and a lover of pop culture second? Consider this a glorified group chat, but we're not calling you out. No, we're calling you in. It's a safe space
to talk shit.
But of course, from Wondery, I'm Peyton Dix.
And I'm Hunter Harris.
And this is Let Me Say This.
Let me say this.
Let me say this.
Let me say this. Let me say this.
The Industry Season 3 finale happened over the weekend, and I have a lot of thoughts. Actually, I simply texted you, have you watched? And then I think I texted IJBOL.
Because what else is there to say?
I did just bust out laughing.
I literally wrote back, oh. Very Sabrina Breyer. Oh, me watching the fucking Industry finale.
I want to start with a spoiler alert. If you have not watched Industry Season 3 or especially the Season 3 finale, just skip forward like 10 minutes. But if you have,
Come along with us.
This is a safe space. I do think I'm in the minority. I think a lot of people liked it.
Oh, really?
Listen, 2 + 2 = 19 today. Girl. Okay.
I'm curious. We need to get whoever that is on the pod because I'm curious like how and why.
No, congressional hearing into how this hour of television got made. Like, no offense. I'm sorry. I thought it was like so bad. But this season on Industry, Harper has started a new fund that has had Pierpoint, her former bank, employer, whatever. Pierpoint is now over-leveraged and out of ideas, and it is in the crosshairs of Harper Stern. Yasmin secretly killed her dad and is being blamed for the money scams that he committed before his death. And humdrum ass Rob.
More on that later.
You swear he's baby girl. He's just home.
This was the first time he actually got to me, but
first time you said, give me a gun and I'll be first.
Yeah. And a little bit of a recap of the finale. Okay,
yes, tell us what happened. Tell us what happened last night.
Last night. That happened to me this morning. I'm still hurting. I'm fresh with wounds. Okay, so Yasmin is getting blackmailed by Hanani Publishing, which essentially leads her to getting engaged to Kit Harington's character, Henry, who's just got long money. And then Rishi kind of gets got by everyone, Harper, Pierpoint, the thug that he owes money to, RIP to a certain someone, aka his wife. Harper, I guess she kind of just girl bosses a little too close to the sun, alongside Petra, gets over this little good girl act, feminism, solidarity. She's just like me for real. She's like, feminism, actually, cancel it. And then starts her own fund with Otto's messy money, but she's in it for the drama. And then we have Rob, who finally fucks Yasmin, but also gets immediately fucked over by her. Stand up, get up. For real, I'm over this. And then Eric gets fucked over by Pierpoint, and Hunter's famous words, never cross a bitch with a bob. Never cross a bitch with a bob. Especially a redheaded bitch with a bob. Yeah, Eric got. R.I.P. to another person.
Who's redheaded bob?
The Miss Mama's. Her name was, I forgot her name.
Yeah.
But she was conspiring.
I thought she has like a little like pixie cut. I guess we'll figure it out.
Sure.
Okay. This is my unpopular opinion.
Yeah.
I think that for every good episode of Industry, there are like 3 fucking stinkers. 3 that I'm just like, womp womp. Like 3 that I'm like, what's that smell?
Yeah.
Bitch.
Yeah.
Like, if you watch Love Island, USA.
Yeah, Serena's in the room with us right now.
I watched the finale, and several times I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Like, this is just so crazy to me that, first of all, that Rishi like leaves Pierpoint and is like, suddenly I have so many morals, and like Saudi money is where I draw the line. Like
right.
Eric has brought in like these Saudi investors, they take over Pierpoint basically. And then that's when Rishi is like, this is too much for me. I have to like go across the street and like with my like high-minded ambition and morals, And then Harper kind of fucks Rishi over, which is like, okay, sure. She hires Sweet Pea and Anraj, my 2 maybe favorite characters on the show.
True.
Yeah.
Sweet Pea solidarity. That's my queen for real.
Like,
representation
the
in
fact
the
that her name is Sweet Pea Golightly is like,
I actually kind of love it. I love a stripper name as like a government name.
The thing that come out of your mouth sometimes, I'm like, maybe you should be on this show. Ooh, Lord have mercy. And then the Rob and Yasmin stuff, I've really struggled with like buying into their romance this season.
Yeah.
It really does seem like a lot of like retroactively like backloaded into like we've like backed into this romance that I don't think is entirely earned. But like Yasmin basically having the choice of either I can marry Rob and he's optimistic but broke, and also always is sad about something. Something's always going on with him.
Yasmin said, brokey.
Or she ultimately is like, or I am going up against like this publishing house.
Yeah.
I am being like slandered in the press. Everyone thinks that my dad's crimes are my fault. I need protection. And then like randomly Henry's uncle or like godfather or something. I mean,
this random moral compass from this man, like we really weren't invested in at all. That was so random
I'm
to
like
me.
this Good Will Hunting as it's not your fault. And, I mean, they
You're
have
not your
layered.
dad's crimes.
They have layered in this thing that like Yasmin feels like how responsible should she be for the stuff that her dad did, and
Yeah.
also how responsible should she feel considering that she did kill him, and now one man who she's met maybe once is like, it's not your fault, it's not your fault, it's not your fault. You are spectacular. And she just like folds like a deck of cards.
Mhm.
She's like, okay, great. I guess I have to marry Henry so I can get protection from the other newspapers. And also like, I'm sorry, the trenchant media criticism of industry is that rich people own newspapers and they can print what they want.
They were watching Succession, taking notes.
I was like, okay.
Well, I feel like the first reaction I had after finishing the finale was like, oh, so you're all a bunch of pieces of shit. Okay, great. But the moment that really pissed me off,
The fragrance ad little montage
the
of them.
fan cam of Yasmin and Rob, the literal fan cam. I was like, wait, did a 14-year-old edit this on TikTok and they just slotted it in? Two of them too, not just the sex scene, but also like it was very, oh my God, sit with me. Breaking Dawn Part 2, where Robert touches, Hunter's so pissed already, I don't care. When Robert finally gets to touch Kristen and figure out all of her thoughts and see her point of view of their relationship because he couldn't see them before, and then she shows him a fan cam of their entire relationship that we had already seen. It was that for me. But that works in Twilight, but it doesn't work on Industry on HBO.
I read an interview with the creators where they said that they were trying to, with that scene and with the Rishi scene, which we'll get to in a moment,
Yeah.
that they were trying to like change the grammar of the show and like intentionally do things that felt outside of like the show's normal tone, which I think is certainly an answer.
Yeah,
I think that's
why?
certainly me when I have done my homework. That's certainly me trying to like say like, it was like this all along, actually.
You just weren't paying attention. You weren't really ready to receive what we were putting down. I do feel like the whole episode felt like they didn't know they were going to be renewed for a season 4.
Okay, people have said that, but their renewal I feel like has been like kind of
But then it was just
presumed
all
for a
too
really long time.
buttoned up in a way that felt like, great, now we're all going on these next ventures, and like Harper being like, I think it's time for me to go home, back to New York, was like, okay, girl, who's gonna be okay. It was very like, it all felt too safe. All these endings felt too conclusive and too safe to me.
Too safe.
But-
Safe. I mean, okay, maybe too safe. But
or easy, maybe it's easy is a better
I
word.
felt like it's going for so much shock over like actual character development.
Yeah.
Like we're kind of watching Yasmin make a decision that she's made 15 other
Over and
times
over again.
in the entire like series, or at least in this season specifically.
Yeah.
Where she's always like tasked, or not tasked, but she's always given the option of like doing maybe the more like moral thing or
Yeah.
taking like the easier way out, and also feeling like she's stuck in between like being just kind of like a man's like
Plaything.
plaything, or like being at the will of a man's like desire for her.
Yeah.
And I think that she is in some way exercising some level of agency by saying like, actually I choose to be rich and I choose to be protected, but that's like not a super interesting direction for her character to go that she hasn't gone before.
Yeah, and I feel it doesn't feel like tethered to the same Yasmin we saw take over her like sexual power in the first, like maybe season 1, a little bit of season 2.
Yeah.
Like I really liked where I thought that her character arc was going, and now this feels like you're just still actually moving at the whims of men and not like taking control in this really empowering, sexy, erotic way.
Well, I do think that she's taking control though. I think
I mean-
her marrying Henry is her way of being like, I know exactly what I'm getting. I know exactly what I've ordered.
Yeah.
Now, if we want to get into the melodrama of Henry being like, oh, I like shot up with dirty needles. Like I like had one crazy night. I was like, click.
Fast forward.
Also, Kit Harington's decision to like stop acting completely and just give these like breathy line readings and act like that's like enough. I was like, oh, okay. I mean, whatever.
I will say
Everything's
on the
gone
Kit
now.
Harington front, I liked him in this role in the way that like it's opposition to a Jon Snow, America's sweetheart type character. Like I love him as a piece of shit. Like I think Kit Harington should play a piece of shit more often. Because
Sure.
Jon Snow was so like, oh, grow up.
I would
like,
say the
honor-
Rob of that show.
Wait, yeah.
Always has an attitude,
Yeah.
always upset about something, always getting got.
I was getting got by a woman. Yeah. I was thinking like, what has really like kept me to this man and his big, big forehead? But he has a sexy voice. He's a sexy speaking voice. Oh, You have a beautiful
Not too
forehead.
much on the
Don't worry.
forehead. Okay,
Yeah.
I know it's beautiful. Thank you.
Our most noble creatures are
Our strongest soldiers have big foreheads.
you and
okay?
Rihanna.
And you, bitch. Look at yourself.
Okay, it's just
those
the
straight
cornrows.
backs. Okay. No, it's okay. Whatever.
Oh, but his sexy voice, I felt like I was holding on to for too long until I watched him be just like a little bitch for an entire season. Entire season.
Where we end with Rob, where he moves to like California or Silicon Valley or wherever,
Sure.
and is like kind of selling himself out, like doing exactly what, you know, Harper has been doing for 3 seasons now, what Yasmin has been doing for 3 seasons now. And he's finally like, what if I just kind of like sell this bill of goods to try to get investment and like move up in the world? I was like, well, what else can he possibly do? He's been doing the same damn thing for 3 years and hasn't gone anywhere. Where's it gotten him? Dumped 3 times.
Damn, he really came inside of her and then found out she got engaged in 24 hours.
What?
White man's plight.
I mean, but that's kind of the best thing. That's the best he could do, really.
Yeah.
I think I did see some fan theories that were like, maybe Yasmin is pregnant now and that's going to come back around. But ultimately, I think that's impossible because it ends on that time jump where she's like in the middle planning a wedding. And so if she were pregnant, I think that's kind of silly. Yeah. But before we finish, we have to talk about Rishi and his uncut gems.
Your man. I used to ride with him, but I'm over.
It's so far over. I was like, Rishi's wife getting in that bad way, getting shot in the head, her head landing in a birthday cake. I was like, ooh, my goodness.
Comedic genius, actually.
That's just crazy.
Yeah.
That's just crazy.
But it is accurate though that like an angry white woman would try to go toe to toe with like a mobster.
Yeah,
they're
like,
cut from the same cloth. Like they take the same notes.
Her thing was like, yes, I dump my man, but like you dump him on me every single time. And that guy being like, enough of this. Like, I'm sorry, women should be seen and not heard, and not even really seen. And like walks out.
I'm curious where that's gonna leave Rishi though for next season.
Well, I'm sure we can press play on any Safdie Brothers movie and figure it out. I want to get back to whatever happened to fucking Bodicea, Petra's business partner's daughter, who Petra was the godmother of. Like that I can't stop thinking about that. That was like my favorite part of the whole season.
Well, HBO, if you're listening, if you're taking notes,
Season 4, Bodicea.
Call Hunter. I love good news. I just love good news. What's the news, Hunter?
Eric Adams, the mayor of New York City, has been indicted on federal corruption and bribery charges, and I, for one, cannot be happier.
The club rat himself, the actual rat of New York City.
He actually had to exit the club to be indicted, and then like slink back in. Yeah. No, I love this man. He's so stupid. He's so funny.
He unfortunately has been having me kicking and screaming and cackling after also wanting him to be. Again, abolition, of course, but I do need
abolition first, but Eric Adams behind bars second.
Exactly.
Like, hate to say it. So after 2 years of unifying New Yorkers against him, he is facing some very stupid as fuck, obvious as hell crime allegations.
With us today to discuss this absolute fucking loser is Sarah Hagi, writer, woman of my heart, Canadian, and co-host of Wondery Scamfluencers podcast. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to meet you both.
You sound like you're on NPR.
Sarah, shut up.
Yeah, fix that right now.
I'm sorry, I'm joking. Woo! Thank you for having me.
Even worse, that was more NPR. The woo was more NPR than the first thing. Okay, we have an important question for you.
Mm-hmm.
First, are you a lover or a hater?
You know, I feel like we've talked about this, and I'm a lover when I can see, but I am a hater. I'm a hater because I love to hate.
There's nothing you love more than hate.
It's you and Kendrick Lamar and me.
Yes,
honestly.
Yeah.
Honestly, I wake up with that battery in my back. Like,
we've bonded over hating a lot, Hunter.
Yeah. It's actually the reason I've muted our group chat is because y'all just really go off in a way that I'm like, my positive, eat, pray, love, big heart sometimes can't handle.
One day I'm gonna expose you for being a true hater, for having that dog in you, but in
privately,
like private.
Privately. Okay, follow-up question. Are you a lover or a hater of Eric Adams?
Oh my God, that's so complicated because he has done terrible things to New York City, like bad things. But do I love The entertainment factor of his existence, yes. He's so crazy, and the way he talks is crazy. Like he's truly one of a kind, and I can't believe he exists.
No, if Eric Adams was not mayor of New York City, Aaron Sorkin would be writing him right now. Like he would be like a character on The Newsroom, R.I.P.
Ugh,
But thank
RIP.
God he's real and trying to defund libraries. But let's kind of break it down before we get into maybe some of his best work, aka the craziest shit he said. What even went down? Embezzle. Well, I guess it wasn't embezzlement. It was more of a fraud, misuse of funds. $10 million to be exact.
I'd call it a sample platter of crimes.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the charcuterie board of
a little
crimes.
bit of everything, a little bit of everything. So allegedly, Eric Adams has misused $10 million in public funds that were a part of like a matching program for his mayoral campaign, and he got money through straw donors from Turkey, not just like hedge fund and billionaires, but like foreign entities, aka the Turkish government. And part of it is that he received about $100,000, they're estimating, in like flight upgrades, travel, hotel rooms,
Yeah.
expensive. Like he was miles over matter.
I do understand him on that front. I will have to say, I love good news. I love nice things. Part of me was like, I like catching flights, not feelings. Sorry.
But some of it was a little bit nuts, where it's like you're doing all of that just to get like a cheap first class flight.
One of my favorite parts of the indictment, which was 57 pages, I read every single one.
I knew you would.
Of course
too.
I did. Some late night reading.
I knew you would.
Story time.
Glasses on, reading lamp lit. She said, now let's go. A face mask. Yeah, this is your relaxation. This is your detox.
Okay, a few things I want to draw attention to. First, Eric Adams, they had seized 2 of his cell phones, but they needed a third cell phone, his private cell phone. And he literally told federal investigators that he had changed the password on his phone because he was afraid that people who worked for him would secretly go and delete evidence from the cell phone, and then he couldn't remember the new password.
Right.
I mean, just imagine that. Sarah, from your experience hosting Skimfluencers, what do you make of Eric Adams and his criminal conspiracy brain trust?
Okay, we had a full episode last August, actually, about Lamorne White, who was known as a bling bishop, who got arrested, live streamed arrest. And it was a story Sachi was telling me. And I was listening to it again before recording this because I was like, oh, Eric Adams was like the second main character in this story. Like like this bling bishop was so heavily involved with Eric Adams when he was the president of like the Brooklyn boroughs or whatever, and also when he was still a senator. And it was crazy because there was so much fraud going on that Eric Adams wasn't directly tied to, but like was there for technically, and a lot of like weird petty grievances with like people they knew. Like, oh, Lamorne lived with this woman who was helping him come up with his church, basically. And they got into it, and Lamorne like left and reported her, and she was kind of like, Eric, like, can you help me out with this? And he's like, I'm staying out of it. Like, it was like all this like weird petty drama between people that he was a part of on behalf of this bling bishop and vice versa. And then I was like, man, this guy is going to go to jail or something. And finally he does. And it's for all this, fraud. I'm kind of, I feel like everyone knew. And I feel like there's so much worse stuff probably that we don't know.
Totally.
Yet.
And I do like how like so many other of Eric Adams, maybe not specifically crimes, but just other weird details about his like candidacy and also like his time in office has been coming out. I just read something the other day that was like he secretly had an office in like a downtown building that's not City Hall, and that he like wouldn't like tell people about it, and he tried to keep it a secret, that he just like had a separate office that was close to like the police precinct for like unofficial business.
A room
Like-
of one's own. Everyone needs one, You just like need a space just for yourself to like get away from the noise,
Like just a space to queen out.
Wait, all
Yeah.
of us being like on the side of Eric Adams is actually like, we've got to move away from that. we're like, wait, I understand him. Like, I want first class. I want my own private space. Yeah.
Yes. Listen,
Can we-
I live in Toronto. We had a mayor that smokes crack. Okay? We had Rob
yes.
Ford who smoked crack.
We all
Yes.
have our vices. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
But the bling bishop thing reminds me of what my mom always says, which is who you hang around is who you become.
My mom said that too. In a
Well,
My mom
different
says
way.
that all
black
the
moms.
time.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, so okay, yeah, that's just
Yeah,
actually
that's the
us being raised
commonality
right.
here.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And wait, really quickly, what was their relationship? The Bling
They
Bishop and
were
Eric Adams.
they were friends. They were honestly just like good friends, and like they helped each other. Like, you know, it was like just like this weird friendship of connecting one another with other people. So like he would honor Eric Adams would like honor Lamorne for certain things, and like it was like a lot of ceremonial stuff that Lamorne was a part of.
Yeah.
But they were honestly just really good friends and helped each other out in ways that like are very shady.
Yeah.
And he was just kind of around when Lamorne was doing a lot of fraud that he's now in prison for. And then once he did start getting in trouble, once the Bling Bishop started getting in trouble, Eric Adams like completely distanced himself from him, like kind of like, I don't know that guy. We're
Yeah.
not friends.
Okay, so Hunter's gonna be doing that to me later and like cut to like 20 years.
Yes,
You're like,
yes.
we had a podcast together. We were just coworkers. I did not know her like that. Okay, so in this 57-page documentation,
Mhm.
there were some hits in there. The text message about I think it was a flight attendant or the flight helper of the Turkish Airlines being
Mhm.
like, make sure you delete these messages. And he replied, always do. Always do.
And I think it was that same person who was like asking for some kind of like high ranking role in the Adams like transition
Yeah.
committee or something. And he was like, oh, like some assistant was like, do you want to be lead or like special something? And the person replied, lead, please. Otherwise, seat 52 is empty on the way back. Like, otherwise, you'll be in the back of the
Messy.
plane where you belong.
Ooh, not to a black man. They said back of the bus, Rosa.
Yeah,
Oh my
it's crazy
God.
that there's like so much of a paper trail and so much evidence and so many insane things that they like have said to one another, like on the record, that is like just makes them so guilty. And I feel like scammers are always doing that. And they get to this point where they're kind of like, this isn't really even a scam. Everyone does this. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
I feel like it becomes so normal that they don't even need to hide it anymore because they're like, no one's going to find out. We've gotten away with it for this long, kind of thing. Like, it's not a factor.
Wait.
Totally. And wait, can I?
Yeah.
There is one part of this too that I think is so fascinating how like for some of these like when they're trying to like basically fake that he had paid for these flights that were, had a monetary value of like $14,000, Eric Adams would only pay like $50.
It's funny, like they were trying to act like it was like upgrading to like Delta Comfort Plus, not like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like a really like cheap amount that would equate to like somehow these first class, multiple flights. What was the other iconic thing he said? Like Istanbul first stop. Like
Yes. He was trying to fly
What?
Turkish Airlines no matter what. Wasn't he going to Chile? And he was like, is there a way I could fly Turkish Airlines?
Yes. No, but for every flight, even when it was like inconvenient, they said. Like the prosecutors were like, he would fly to Turkey via France to get to like Beirut. I don't know. Like something just so random.
Yeah. To get to like New Orleans. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, we'll find a way to fly Turkish.
Yeah. He does, as we are getting to, have so many iconic quotes. And, I'll kind of kick us off with some of my favorite, if you don't mind. One being, this one I actually heard this morning. And I'm already off book. Watch. All my haters become my waiters when I sit at the table of success. I'm sorry, bars.
so
Kendrick,
good.
Kendrick is shaking right now. Being like, fuck. Yeah, like,
That's
this
something
is
a housewife would say.
No,
That's
that's
truly something a housewife would say. He's so housewives coded.
yes. Oh my God, no, get him on Watch What Happens Live.
No, most politicians, like that's I think what I've learned out of this past few years. It's like, oh, politicians are really just made to be teenage girls. Like politicians
Yes.
are made to be fussy and messy and not actually lead our country in any sense of the world.
I
like,
do think if you're a politician, you have to kind of be someone who loves drama and loves like weird one-liners. I remember once, I don't know if you guys know this, it was very controversial here, but Rob Ford, the mayor who smoked crack in Toronto,
you love that detail.
there was this rumor that he performed oral sex on someone, and someone asked him about it as he was like walking, and there's like a lot of reporters, and he was like, and just so you know, I'm happily married and I've got more than enough to eat at home.
Wait.
Hold on.
That's my
hold
man.
on,
Hold on. That's
hold
my
on.
man. I will see him through this.
This is like Michael Douglas saying that he got cancer from like eating pussy. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy.
It's
Wait,
crazy.
more than
It's
to eat at
crazy.
home
He
is
said this while
sexy,
he was
though.
mayor.
Yeah. And that's actually, that's how they should be acting, unfortunately. I mean, they shouldn't be leading our country. Again, like, nothing, they shouldn't have any sense of power, but they should have, like, an A cam and a B cam. You know what I mean? Like, that's how. Wow.
Wait, I have to give my favorite
Yes,
Eric
yes.
Adams quotes. When my gloves are hung up, people will look at, listen. That was an authentic, bald-headed, earring-wearing brother that did his thing as the mayor of the city of New York. Bald-headed, earring-wearing brother.
I mean, come on. I think people have been asking why he didn't get hair transplant in Turkey. And it's because he likes being bald. It just clicked right now. He likes being bald.
Well, okay, literally our last episode, what did I say?
What did you say?
I said, oh God, now I don't stand on it, but real men are bald. Like, fine motherfuckers have buzz cuts, but
And-
real men, bald.
You're the same person who's like, can we really fault Eric Adams for having a Brat Summer? Oh, suddenly it's no longer Brat Summer. Brat Summer stops when we get to Gracie Mansion.
Maybe we are in, what does he call it? The summer of possibilities. Like, maybe we are, and maybe he was exactly correct for predicting that. Like, there is a possibility you're going to jail. Like, that is
Yes.
what's happening.
The thing is, I feel like he's led his life where he truly sees that anything is possible, anything can be achieved. This man, again, mayor of New York, this crazy man who can like barely
Yeah.
complete a normal sentence
Yeah.
is somehow the mayor of like the, biggest city in the world or whatever. Like, what's happening here?
Wait,
How did this happen?
Do you have any favorite Eric Adams quotes?
It's from a Vanity Fair article in 2021. And someone asks, what's the best concert you've ever been to? And he says, Curtis Mayfield at the Wingate Concert Series. At that concert, there was a rainstorm and the lights fell on Curtis Mayfield and they actually paralyzed him at the concert. He died a few years ago, but it was an amazing concert before that happened. Just so unfortunate.
I mean, this is like his 9/11 quote. This is like his thing about New York City, a place where anything can happen, where it could be like, I don't know, subway performers and then 9/11 happening. It's like he has a totally warped perception of everything, like every single thing that happens just in reality.
He really is the Biden of Brooklyn. Like, that actually was a very accurate portrayal because he's out of his mind. He needs to get the fuck out of office. And he's acting stupid as hell. So maybe that's accurate. Wow.
Wonder, and all those, you guys mentioning clubbing, and it's like so funny being on the outside and just knowing what you're talking about because it's like impossible. Like, it just becomes this like worldwide story, everything he does.
Mhm.
But all the videos of him clubbing and that one video where he's with like Cara Delevingne, that was so weird. What was that?
Well, it was like in Cara Delevingne's like heyday of like when she was still, before she was sober, she was also on drugs at times. So she was like really hitting it hard.
How
on
does
the
he
dance
get?
floor.
He like parties with celebrities? Like, was that like a
he
thing
pays
he was
rent
doing?
at zero bond. He like
He's
he
everywhere.
lives at the club.
He's everywhere. I swear he has like body doubles running around the city because he can't be everywhere at every club at once.
And I almost brought up Hermione's Time Turner from Harry Potter, but I won't do that.
Okay, well, let me say this.
Lisa, let me say anything else.
I just have to come back to after he was indicted, he released a video that was like his, pre-recorded statement about the indictment. And he said, quote, I always knew that if I stood my ground with all of you, I would become a target. And a target I became.
That's tea, actually.
Sarah, thank you so much for joining us. Where can people find you?
You can find me online, twitter.com/kindahaggy, and also Scampluencers, which comes out every week.
I can't wait for the Scampluencers on Eric Adams.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I feel like he's been in the pipeline for a while, but we've just been waiting for
your time
like
to strike.
for an indictment, a conclusion. Like there had to been some sort of thing that happened. So it's there. It's like, our best men are on it.
Just like the federal prosecutors, like waiting for your moment to strike. I love it.
I can't wait for the Scamfluencers episode of Hunter and I. Coming soon.
No.
Don't
even bring that into the world. Thank you, Sarah.
Thanks. Bye, guys.
Well, real true lover girls are down bad.
Lover girls down in the third quarter.
and it's not looking good, especially the Love Girls in Detroit, where hundreds of people had lost a lot of money buying tickets for a Bridgerton-themed party, ball, if you will, gone terribly wrong.
What happened?
Well, a Bridgerton-themed ball put on by the company, let's just say it, Uncle and Me LLC.
Okay, let me stop you right there.
Oh, you heard the judgment?
If you are sending a PayPal link, a Venmo payment, anything to Uncle and Me LLC, you get what you pay for.
But also not a PayPal or a Venmo link. Oh my God. Not even Shop app or something?
Fine.
Oh, no.
Shop app.
Yeah.
Shop app. Okay, now
Like,
it's better.
Imagine doing PayPal and Venmo for like a highly curated ball, if you will.
Imagine Venmoing someone named Uncle and Me LLC.
I could see you doing that though.
I'm me.
It would be Venmoing yourself. But this was no ball. To call it that is generous, actually. There was no lady whistle down in sight, just a singular violinist, a, say it with me, stripper, just one, gorgeous work, floral decorations that possibly were bought at the dollar store maybe an hour before the event, one big chair, one big bright orange chair.
One big chair?
And one big chair, yeah.
One big chair.
And
okay.
beautiful, beautiful gowns. And that was it.
Was there food?
Allegedly.
Okay.
Allegedly, the chicken was raw. There was apparently no cleanup crew, so people were just like having to move other people's finished plates to the side so that they can sit down and eat. And allegedly, they ran out of food. I'm saying alleged because I don't want Uncle and Me LLC, aka Hunter, to sue me. So those are the allegations. And then the photos coupled with those allegations. I had a laugh. Child, I had a laugh. The photos of just the guests sitting on the floor.
Guests? I would call them victims. I would call them scam victims.
That is actually a much more apt term. The victims of Uncle and Me LLC scrolling on their phones, kind of sitting idly by, just like in what was actually a pretty big venue, but was really scattered with a lot of pissed Detroit goers.
This is giving like freshman orientation event. It's giving like I have to be here, and I simply wish that I weren't.
And I wish things were better.
But it's sad that you would get
excited.
It's sad that they would get all dressed up for this.
Well, that's actually the part that pissed me off the most, which is everyone looked really good. You know, Black people will do a thing or two, especially with the hair. Especially they go full force, full fit, full drip. And they committed to the bit, but guess who didn't? Uncle and Me LLC.
Wow, that's so crazy.
Yeah.
And how much were these tickets?
Anywhere between $150 and like $1,000. Yeah, I think the median was around $300 for like the most. I mean, they should have known from the promo itself. The promo itself, mind you,
like, wait, hold on. This is like Charlie XCX prices.
Yeah,
this is like approaching like Usher prices.
And
like
this was no MSG.
This is like a Liberty Game price. That's so crazy.
And that shouldn't be true, but it is. Yeah. But like the promo itself, though, was literally like some girl who might have been the me in Uncle and Me LLC, just kind of twirling around Detroit in a Bridgerton themed kind of 18th century gown.
This is how they lured people in.
Yeah.
Like this was like their like how they just
be like, this could be you.
And again, I have to at a certain point I'm like, well, listen, what indicated that you wouldn't get what you got?
Yeah.
One singular violinist. Interesting. And where did they find her?
The street. Okay, but we have to talk about the moment I stood up. Actually, I got out of my chair. I didn't just sit up. I stood up on 2 feet. And when I saw the singular stripper in this harsh fluorescent lighting, mind you, like I would actually be pissed if I was a stripper and I'd be like, I don't need people to see my pores. Like, let's get some mood lighting in here. Like, let's get something even just a little warm. Like the lighting was like harsh and very, very bright for an evening event. And she did perform her at least finale song to Moves Like Jagger. So a moment of silence for our sister.
Was that her choice or?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
They just like press play on like a little iPod shuffle. Like that's what played. Like how did that come to be?
I think the first 2 songs were actually like Bridgerton themed songs, like, you know,
so Ariana Grande.
Yeah, like, right. A pop song, but with the one violinist. And then because I guess they wanted to like amp up the vibes, There's no amping up those vibes. They were like, oh, let's do moves like Jagger to like kind of lift the spirits of the broken people that are here.
Now I'm thinking Uncle and Me LLC must be white people. But if they were white people, they'd be calling people by their first name.
Mhm.
So it would be
You know
Rob
they're
and
black.
Me.
You know they're black as hell. Respectfully, they're black as fuck, Hunter, and you know that. But The Cut did an interview with the stripper. Her name is, I think, Tink the Fairy is her name. And a little bit of context for her. She was booked the day of.
No.
She was paid her normal rate though. Like she said
that's
that she
good.
was like, my money, I got my PayPal back from Uncle and Me LLC. I don't know about the rest of y'all though. But she was hired the day of. I think she was paid about like $800, but she was in and out within the hour.
That's like great. That's a great hour rate.
Yeah, she actually had a pretty positive. I know that should be. Hold on, let me take notes. But she had told The Cut, she was like, "Listen, I just had a role to play, and they were paying me, so I did it." And that's that. I guess.
Was she paid in cash or like did I?
I hope the check cleared, whatever it was.
I hope it wasn't cash. I hope the check cleared. That is.
And she was just in like it wasn't even like Regency era like outfits that she was stripping in. It was like just doing a pole dance in like a red bra and thong.
Were there children there? Was this like an
No.
all ages event? Okay, good.
No, thank
okay,
God,
good.
no.
Okay, good. I mean, listen, I want to say Godspeed to everyone who needs a refund, but at the end of the day, what else did you expect?
What
From a
else did you-
Bridgerton themed party? Someone had a ball.
And it was no one there.
It was
Actually,
no
it
one
was
present.
Tink the Fairy. Because she did a quick little number, got $800 an hour, and said, "I'll see you when," and got a cut profile.
I was going to say, and she's got some promo from it, so good for her.
Hopefully,
Good
she
for
stays
her.
booked and busy.
Would you go to a Bridgerton themed event in general?
I would not pay American dollars to do it, but I would. Yeah, I think I would. Like they're like, come for a night. Like you don't have to post about it. Like it could be private. Just come and see the experience. Yeah, I would. My tits look great in a little corset though. So that's
I feel
why.
like at a Bridgerton themed, from what I've seen of the show, shouldn't it be like you like play a big game of telephone with like actual people's like lifetime like life drama? Like it shouldn't be more like that than
No,
just like
so this isn't
a big
industry, by the way.
dance?
This is not. That's not what it is. If you're trying to start mess and drama, no. It's just like there's a ball.
No!
Hunter ain't never been to a ball in her life. She said, where are the stakes? Why isn't there guns here? Like, I'm like, oh my God, it's just like these sweet, nice people like
He said it's
twirling
just a
around.
themed party.
Yeah, it was like, it's not on HBO, it's on Netflix, okay? But normally it actually looks kind of cute. Like normally these kinds of things have like a moment where they pick like a diamond of the season and then someone
Like a
gets a
debutante
special.
thing. Okay,
Yeah, it's
okay.
kind of sweet. And normally there's food that lasts. Normally the chicken is cooked all the way through. Like normally there's not a stripper, but there are dancers and performers and help along the way.
I would say my number one fear is eating like raw or undercooked chicken. Like in life, that's my number one
Yeah.
fear. And that's when I'm like, oh, we're pressing charges.
Yeah.
Oh, Kamala's on her way, actually. I hope it was worth it. Cops have been called. That is the most unsettling part of all of this. But
Would you go to a Bridgerton theme party?
Girl, who do you think
If
I
no
am?
one ever would have found out, would you go? Be honest.
It doesn't matter if people finding out. I wouldn't want to be there. That's the thing. I wouldn't want to sit there and have a good time.
Well, you know who they actually needed to call? Uncle and Me LLC, if you're listening to this, you need to call Little Miss Jennifer Lopez on how to throw a Bridgerton-themed party properly.
Her man was leaving her. Her man was like walking out of the door, like heels on the marble floor. He was walking out, and she's still through the party of the century.
Right? Bridgerton being a sign of like the recession and strife is not lost on me. I know Shonda Rhimes is pissed. Yeah.
She's in it. Why am I in it?
But anyway, pouring one out for all the people that attended. I hope you get at least $50 back. Something.
It was
You
like,
won't, but
it was
I hope.
Firefest for the girls in corsets.
Yeah.
That's what it was. With the photos I saw, that's what it was giving.
And correct. Their uncooked chicken was the same like bread, tomato, lettuce
In
plate.
some styrofoam,
Mhm.
handed out like in a line. Ooh,
Absolutely.
Lord.
Times
God
tough.
bless.
Yeah.
God bless.
Well, that's it for this week. As usual, we are 2 online, so you don't have to be.
You know, I looked it up and Eric Adams is a Virgo, which I think is embarrassing for actual Virgos. This is the most like bird brain conspiracy I've ever heard of.
And speaking of bird brain conspiracy, please God, never trust a business named Uncle and Me LLC. Think about your own uncle. Do you trust him? Exactly. Do better.
I trust every uncle I have, so I'm going to take offense to that.
Fine.
You know who I don't trust? Anyone on industry. Those are people who will stab you in your back just before you even can say hello.
And we're bleeding out right now.
Let me say